What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Zamboni. I am a musician and astrologer, and it is time to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. As always, and thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for listening to the music. You can check out Can't Help Myself. You can check out Breathe on Spotify, Tidal, Pandora, Apple Music, wherever you like to get your music at. You can. I got readings on discount this week. If you want to get like 41.7% off or something like this, it's you want to get a reading cheap. You can go to my website and use the discount code ZF23. That is gonna work for another, I don't know, week or two, something like this. So go ahead, get on in there, help your boy pay for those taxes that got a little out of hand. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for sending me a tip via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal if you find this and other videos helpful to you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sending it to a friend and being a part of this community and all that. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. So this week we have a big Mercury retrograde all week. So we had the station retrograde, and that happened last week. And so that Mercury station is right there with Uranus. Now this is interesting. This is actually perfect this week. I'm actually on the second take here, or actually it's closer to maybe like the fifth take or something. But I got a final take, and I was gonna like upload it and do everything, and then I found that the microphone had not recorded anything. And so then I went back and changed some connections around, and then I guess the microphone is broken now, or maybe the cable is, or the connector. It's like there's a bunch of troubleshooting that I have to run now. And so this is prime Mercury retrograde stuff. Now with Mercury retrograde in Taurus is the fixed earth sign here. So usually that's something like physical or tangible or something like this. So I'm going to guess that I have a hardware issue. I don't have a software issue right now. It's not that like things are not recording properly, or like that there's a setting off or something like that. I think that there's a cable issue. Like there's some kind of like something about the hardware isn't working properly. So that's right on time. So we're really doing this Mercury retrograde thing this week. And that's kind of the main thing that we have going on this week. We don't have like a lot of other aspects happening. We've got the sun sextile to Saturn, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And we've also got Mars in Cancer sextile to Uranus and Taurus. But like we don't have any hard aspects going on this week except for the moon. And so we're really looking at like, it's really Mercury retrograde time. And, you know, this Mercury retrograde is interesting because it's happening in Taurus, right? And so it's right there conjunct Uranus. So we can expect hardware malfunctions and this kind of thing. Whatever is going on in the Taurus area of your chart. So somebody in this past week asked me in the comments section, like, should I look at what house this is going through in my chart? And the answer to that question is yes, you should do that. So if you, for example, have Taurus in the, I don't know, maybe you've got Taurus in the fifth, right? And so fifth house, that has to do with pleasure, creativity, kids, artistic babies and things of that nature as well. And so so if you've got a Mercury retrograde in that area, then you might have some kind of like, things are not going in the direction that you thought it was going to go. There's might be some kind of delay or miscommunication when it comes to your pleasure dynamics, maybe your relationship to your children, or something like this, right? So you can always kind of locate that in your life by looking at the house that you're in. Or maybe you want to use the discount code ZF23 and I will do that for you. And then we can just talk about all of the different stuff. That would be fun, wouldn't it? So, and I think that actually, maybe I'm just like selling readings here and I would like you to buy a reading, but also, there's something about reflection and like really paying attention that, and a reading can be helpful in that way because like we're going to be looking at context and like where are we in time right now. And this is really a really interesting moment in time and an important time to be reflexive and to, think into, with Mercury retrograde in Earth signs this year, then Earth signs they're like tangible, they're bodily, right? And so I've been thinking about the intelligence of the body. About a week ago, I think I released on the podcast a talk with my herb teacher, Richard Mandelbaum, and he was talking about the intelligence not only of the brain, right, but also the intelligence of the heart. and the intelligence of the gut. And all of these, it's this idea that like intelligence and mind is kind of spread throughout the body and is not only localized behind your eyes. And so if that's true, then there's likely a lot of communication going on. And we can talk about hormonal signaling, and we can talk about electrical signaling and all this kind of stuff, right? And we can think about that as being a kind of language. There's a communicative situation happening there, but it's nonverbal. And so this is especially interesting under a Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the one who, and it's important to remember that communication is both speaking and listening, right? It takes both of those pieces there. And so if we think about Mercury in an earth sign or Mercury in a water sign, those are the yin signs, then those tend to be a little more on the listening side of things. They tend to be a little more receptive and this sort of stuff, right? And so if we think about Mercury retrograde, that's Mercury moving backwards, right? Like having to take another look at things, going back over something that you might have seen already, maybe recording another take that you thought you had finished or something like this, right? Then doing that kind of thing and maybe spending a little bit of time to sit with the bodily intelligence of that. Like, how does it feel in my body? There's a good chance that there's going to be some kind of like unexpected feeling or some kind of unexpected situation that comes up. And when that situation comes up, then how does it feel? How does it feel in the body? And then how does that body feeling then go on to motivate action? What kind of actions does it motivate? If we see this as a kind of beginning here, because we can think about how we're moving toward this Venus retrograde in Leo, for example. If we're in that sort of space, then we might think about this, we don't even necessarily have to like judge or think about, we try to make some kind of change around what it is that's going on here. Maybe this reflexive moment can be a moment to sit back and think about what's going on and just notice. In the same way that transcendental meditation is going to be about sort of sitting there and just thinking or like feeling the thoughts come through and just notice which thoughts they are, that could be something that could be helpful. So, and then maybe like take a little moment and write it down in a journal or something like this, right? And then just to have that and build that intelligence slowly. This is something that I've been talking about with a lot of clients recently, is this sense of like bodily intelligence is something that we in this culture, and probably you as well if you're listening to this in English and everything, then we have this feeling of like trying to override the gut feelings that we have and this kind of thing. Like if you feel some kind of trepidation or fear or something like that, then it's like, no, you need to go and be courageous. You need to be a hero and go handle that stuff or whatever it is, right? And then that can maybe like lead to other problems. And so because we are used to that kind of pushing past it and overriding those feelings and not listening to it at all, then it takes a little while for us to cultivate an ability to listen to our bodies, or to maybe listen to plants. Like one of the things that I learned in herb school so many years back is that if you sit at the base of a sycamore tree and you've got writer's block, then the sycamore can help to give you ideas, right? And that's a beautiful thing. But one must sit down, be quiet, and listen to the trees, on the understanding that trees will communicate with you the same way that your gut will communicate, the same way that your heart will communicate. These are things that can be intelligible if you take the time to sit there and listen to it, And so, and that's, I think, one of the things that the Sun sextile to Saturn really speaks to this week as well. So Sun sextile Saturn, that's complementary, that's a helpful relationship. Saturn is the slow planet. And so there's some kind of intelligence. We can think about the Sun as being very intelligent, having to do with mind and like soul and like whatever's going on, like the sort of composite thing. And then Saturn as slowing that down. So if we can get into being slow, then there's likely a lot to learn here. Here's hoping that the built-in microphone worked out. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to get a reading, then check out ZF23 on the website. You can always check out the music and all the rest. Send it to a friend. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all y'all. I'll see you next time.